Have you ever heard stories like this?
Her joints are going to get messed up.
Don't let them max out.
She's too young to be hitting it that hard.
Weight training stunts their growth.
We're going to get into all that and more on this week's episode of The Bucket Dads.
Oh, it's that Bucket Dad energy. With the Bucket Dad, 40 and jacked in the stands. Not a folding chair, nah, with a 6-gallon plan. Fastpitch is life, D1 is the mission. We push them hard, ain't no time for permission. From the weight room to the plate, we spit motivation. Yeah, we yell at the but it's pure dedication. Got the podcast booming, the whole team listen. Big dudes, big hearts, and the scholarship glistening. Big dudes, big hearts, and the scholarship glistening.
And as always, I'm Rob.
And I'm Chad.
And we're the Bucket Dads.
All right, gang. Today we got a cool little episode. We got a couple of guests. Today we got Abby here, my daughter, and we got Zeva on the call-in.
Zeva on the call-in. You guys can't see it, but we got her on a laptop over in the corner. We were going to have her in studio, but unfortunately she got sick, and we didn't want to get Abby sick. But, we already put them off for last week, because just scheduling and stuff. So we did the best we could. So we're going to test out our podcasting Bluetooth abilities, and hopefully everything goes well.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. And hey, before we get into it, don't forget, like and subscribe, hit the smash button, hit the follow button, smash the hit button. I don't know. You know the deal. Follow us.
Slap that smash button.
Slap the smash button. Whatever you got to do. Give us a like, give us a follow, and show us some love, man.
And share with your friends, man. Help us get the word out.
That's right. And hey, welcome to the Bucket Dads podcast. We talk all things fast pitch softball. We are going to get into some things tonight about some strength training. We're going to talk about some of my favorite workouts I like the girls to do.
We're going to cover some myths.
That's right.
And some falsehoods and some things that are actually true that you've been hearing for years that are true. And you got to be careful of.
And a lot of this is, guys, this is us doing our own research. So look, man, we're just a couple of bucket dads. We're not doctors. We're not scientists. Do your own research and look out what's best for your kid. And, if you got something negative to say, well, say it, I guess.
Yeah, we got thick skin. We're big boys. We can take it.
We can handle it.
If you think we're flat out wrong and can prove us otherwise,
that's right.
Educate us.
That's right. Well, let's get into some of the one of the myths right now is strength training with kids. This is the one that I love to hear the most is weight training stunts your growth.
Oh yeah, man, I've been hearing that ever since I was a kid. My mom didn't even let me lift weights till I was like in 9th grade or 10th grade.
Yeah.
Could you imagine me at like 6'4.5", 6'6" with shoes on if I would have started lifting weights?
Do you
in like
think it stunted
grade?
your growth?
Dude, I actually do think it stunted my growth by not lifting 100%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So So
maybe if you started weightlifting, you'd have been like 7'8".
It would have triggered growth hormone. 100%.
I don't know, Abby. Do you think it stunts your growth?
No, definitely not.
I think it triggered your growth.
I think Zeva. Do you think it stunts your growth lifting weights? Speaking of,
honestly, yeah.
You think so?
Probably.
All right. Okay, I'll take that respectfully. We'll get into your side of that. I like that. I like to hear another side of it. But the myth actually comes from, and what I heard is it comes from the old China day, where they're talking about the China labor camps, and all these kids had pounds and we're talking like their body weight plus some of labor, whatever material they're on their back, and they're hauling it, and they would talk about, that would potentially stunt their growth. So,
Hey, just to clarify, Zeva, I just want to make sure you understand what stunts their growth means. You think that weight training limits you from growing? Is that what you think?
Or do you think or do you think it promotes? Do you think it promotes your growth, or do you think it keeps you from growing?
I think it makes people grow faster.
Okay. There we go. All right.
Good. I'm glad I clarified.
Yeah,
I was
glad you did too.
I was damn, girl, you think you've been shrinking, huh?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, my hot take on it is this, man, is they're already naturally growing.
Yeah, exactly. Right? We're already naturally growing at this age. Why not help us grow by doing some weightlifting?
Yep.
Why not help it?
Because we definitely do a lot of agility.
Yep.
We definitely do a lot of running, sprinting,
resistance,
Definitely a lot of core. I think, like we do.
Yeah.
Zeva, why don't you run us through some of the workouts that you guys do, that you girls do during, during winter workouts? And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about drills with, see ball, hit ball, or fielding drills. I'm just talking about what's our basic workouts that we do as a team, you think, with your team. There's your basic stretches and your basic warm-ups.
I would say probably like agility.
Yeah.
And then one of the warm-ups that Travis likes us
Get into the agility, though. Let's back up a little bit. What do you mean agility? When you girls warm up with agility, what does that look like?
Like agility ladders, wearing weight vests.
Maybe starting off. You girls also start off often just like running around the
field.
The field once or twice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, doing a little running.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And
but
then
when we're in the barn, he has us do that circle when we're in a push-up plank position.
Yep.
And we're rolling the tennis ball to each other.
Absolutely.
And
there's a lot of core, a lot of hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, mostly core.
Team building.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty hard to do. Just stay in a plank position for a long period of time, and with one arm grab a tennis ball and roll it, and and
have the coordination to roll the ball to who the girl you're trying to roll it to, because they you have to call out their name, right? Zeva. And Zeva rolls it to Kaya. Yeah. Right. Okay. Cool. And then what about after that, when you're kind of like, you girls have those, what are those big old the weighted water what are those called?
I don't know.
What are
we
water
called?
Tanks.
Water tanks. Okay.
I think they're like water tanks or something.
We do some squats on with those.
Yeah,
right?
we have like a big long one.
Right.
Kind of looks like a big
log.
Yeah. And then we have a circular one. It looks like a really big, like a smaller size medicine ball.
Mm-hmm.
They're really heavy. They're filled with water.
Or partially, so they're kind of awkward.
Yeah. They're like water, and like you can add more to add the weight, and he has us do like squats and like lunges across the barn.
Ooh, walking lunges, those are good. Yep.
What else do you do, Zeva? What do you do at the gym?
Dad, you should post a picture of water tank somewhere.
Zeva, honey, I'm absolutely gonna put all kinds of like videos of you and Abby doing strength training all throughout this. Once we start talking about specific exercises, I will absolutely have video up of you girls doing different stuff.
So before we get into too much gym stuff yet, just as the team though, my point to this was we don't do too much resistance training as far as weight resistance training with our team. We do some water bag, a little bit of like lunge, walking lunges with the water tanks, some resistant band training.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got that sled that Steve lets us use every once in a while, and that's pretty badass.
It is, but we haven't seen it in a hard minute. But of course, the weather hasn't been great for it.
I know.
Unfortunately.
That's true. That's 100%. But when the weather clears up, we bring that thing back out. Oh my God.
So it's been about a year, I would say, looking back at my memories since we all kind of gym broed up together at the gym. Close to it.
Yeah, once we start going to the gym, maybe around a year, give and take a little.
Oh, you mean timeline? Gym. I thought you meant like, it's been a year. I'm like, what in the hell are you talking about, bro? We were just out there the other week. No, I'm sorry. I'm a little
I got you.
I'm a little out to lunch right now.
It's been a whole year since we've been to the gym. You're like, we were just there.
Don't mind me.
We've all been kind of going to the gym together for about a year, I would say.
Yeah.
And so I've got some. We're gonna put up some cool photos of these little string bean girls that used to be with squatting this little 15-pound bar that looks kind of like a broomstick. More or less, it really was a broomstick.
Yeah, it was like a big, long broomstick.
Oh my
gosh. It was padded and everything.
Because it was all too heavy on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And over this past year, we've kind of progressed. We progressed from those to the weighted bars to the actual, to an actual real bar, to some weights on the bar. We're deadlifting. We're pull-ups. We're doing pull-ups.
We're doing power cleans.
That's right.
Yeah.
So let's get into some of the power cleaning. I haven't done any of that.
Yeah, Zeva, why don't you talk about your 5 favorite? We're gonna go you, then you, and then we'll talk about ours that we're looking forward to. But Zeva, what do you think your 5 favorite?
What's your go-to when you're gonna go to the gym and get your pump on?
You're gonna get your pump on, exactly.
Do you remember that time when she was all swelled up?
Like specifically, which exercises do you think benefit you the most as far as weights. Now, I'm not talking about jump rope. I mean, you can mention jump rope and stuff like that, but when we're talking about weights and power and just like,
what's your go-to in the gym
beefing
lately?
up? What are your go-to workouts lately?
I would probably say like the leg press that I usually do.
I like that.
The gym.
Mm-hmm.
And then power cleans are really fun. Hip thrusts.
Ooh, those are the new ones. Really that's a new one they discovered here the last couple of months. Yeah, absolutely. Forgot about that one. Good call on that. Any arms? Do you like to do any shoulders? Any arms? Anything like that? Chest?
Bench presses are fun.
What about the
and then like pull?
Any kind of pulling exercises? Like you talking about the lat pull downs? Or you talking about
your
tricep?
back exercises for sure. Yes, absolutely.
Pull-ups.
What about squats? You don't like squats?
Not your fave.
Hey, just so you know, Zeva, most everybody doesn't like squats.
They're most people's not fave.
The reason
they're not your fave neither. You like them, but they're not your favorite.
I do like them.
Nobody likes squats.
I like them.
You haven't.
You just like the fact that you're going up in weight. But I'm telling you, I have not met one person ever.
They like the way you make. I will say this. How about you like the way they make you feel afterwards,
and they make you look. Because your legs get jacked and everything else, right?
But man,
but maybe you do. Maybe you like squats.
Maybe she likes squats. She's looking at like we're crazy.
Guess what? You know what? Next time we go to the gym, I'm gonna be like, you gonna do some squats. You gonna get some squats in, huh?
Well, it depends if my knees are hurting.
This week?
Yeah.
Depends if your knees are hurting.
Yeah, because if they're hurting, I'm not gonna do squats.
Or if you've been doing like oftentimes if she did like a catcher's clinic, you know what I mean, or she's got a catcher's clinic this weekend, we probably won't do squats. You know what I'm saying? If she's got to go up to the barn on Sunday, we probably won't squat.
Well, but you know what you can do instead of squats that will at least take care of your glutes. Hip thrusters.
Yeah.
Yep. That way you don't get the knee. So what are your top? What are your 5 go-to?
I have a lot.
Well, you only get 5.
Yeah, you got 5. You got 5, and then let's talk about. Yeah, you got 5. So start from the bottom and go up, or whatever way you want to go.
At the bottom, I would probably say push-ups. I don't really like them, but
it's definitely been an exercise you've improved a lot lately. And, yeah.
I like the presses, like the shoulder presses, the flies.
What about deadlifts and squats?
Yeah, I was about to say deadlifts. And
squats.
Squats and like the arm and
she likes to get her arms size. So yeah.
And the curls.
Yeah.
Right on.
What about hip thrusts?
Hip thrust.
I haven't really done too much of those, so I can't really say anything about that.
Fair enough. Did you say pull-ups? Because whenever I'm at the gym, I always see you doing
pull-ups. She's always doing pull-ups. She didn't talk about pull-ups, but she's always been doing pull-ups, and she loves it. And she does lat pull-up machines.
Yeah.
She did say there's way more than 5 that she likes to do, and they're all super beneficial, man. Super beneficial. I'm pro. With the girls, I like to see them do some compound movements. Muscle building movements, using all the muscles in a movement. And the squats, great. Deadlifts. When I say deadlifts, and when I'm talking squats, guys, like we're still not to ask not to get too personal, but they're not much over 100 pounds a piece. Right, Zeva's gone through a nice little growth spurt. She's probably a few pounds heavier than Abby, but they're probably less than 105 pounds, 105 somewhere in there.
That's about where they're at,
right?
Yep.
And so when I say
I'm about like 106.
Okay, hey, my bad, girl. I heard you found the meatloaf, and I'm proud about that. So heck yeah, girl. But still, yes. When I'm talking their language, squatting heavy, we still haven't even hit their body weight yet.
No,
Abby,
I'm close. 5 pounds off.
Well,
I'm at 95.
You're at 95 pounds, but for reps. And I have a rep calculator, guys. I'll share with you. If I can take a screenshot of this, I'll send it to you, Rob. But it's basically, you could just Google a 1 rep calculator. And I like this one in particular. They all say about the same. 1 rep max calculator, where basically you put in the weight times how many you've done. It'll tell you about how much they're pushing.
Yeah, like if you can do like 10 reps of such and such, it'll tell you what you do for 1 rep.
And so basically what she's doing at 95 pounds is it comes out to about 103 pounds, which is right around what she weighs.
Yeah. If you can do your body weight, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah. And it uses more than just her glutes. It's a whole full body exercise.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So
hey, I got a question. Starting with you, Zeva, if you could give any advice to younger 10U and 12U players who are thinking about going to the gym and working out, what type of advice What type of things do you recommend that they do, that they don't do? What kind of gear do you think they need to get? What do you think? What do you think they should do to adequately prepare themselves for a good workout that makes them want to keep coming back for more and more? Because I know that there's a lot of parents out there that want to get their kids going to the gym, but it's kind of like once you go to the gym, unless you get into a really solid routine that you like, you're less likely to want to go back. And rule number one is go to the gym.
Just walking through the door.
You got to get to the gym first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice do you have for kids that are thinking about lifting and thinking about getting jacked up?
First, I would probably say to just like start out with a lightweight if you're doing like squats or like bench presses or that kind of stuff. But usually on bench presses, they're pretty heavy bars. So maybe don't do bench presses. Start out with like squats.
You
and
can
that
get
kind
lighter
of stuff.
bars.
And, like,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Basically, what you're saying is if you're going to start out doing bench press, to basically
Start off light.
grab some of the lighter weight bars if you have them. If you don't have them, then possibly either do some assisted bench pressing where you have somebody who's spotting you, help you do some assisted.
Yeah.
Because you're right, that 45-pound bar for a girl
it's pretty heavy. So
it's tough.
What we do, we don't bench press. Honestly, we don't flat bench press. The bar's too much. If we do, it's to me it's one movement I don't really find too beneficial for them personally. Is just a regular flat bench press. I do, however, like an incline dumbbell presses. I like that stuff. Shoulders, right? And you're using a lot more. And I like the isolation of dumbbells, right? It's good for the core. But the bench presses, like they do have the smaller, like 20-pound bars, that you can like curling bars that we'll do some bench pressing with. But really, I think there's better exercises that are more beneficial, in my opinion.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
In my opinion.
What other advice do you have, Z?
Yeah, you come to the gym with some gear. What do you tote in your gear bag at the gym?
What will you not go to the gym without?
There you go.
Oh, I know that.
I always bring a water bottle. I usually bring like wrist supports.
Wrist wraps.
Yeah. I would say like weightlifting gloves, so like you get a grip on it so your hands don't get too sweaty and like they kind of like slip a little bit. Because that's one thing that's happened to me when I forgot my weightlifting gloves at home.
Or like you start to get calluses and then they peel off. That's been happening with me.
Yeah. Well, for the record, these girls got pretty strong hands. And for the record, neither one of them squat with a pad on the bar. Anyways, Zeva, you have a nice belt that you wear too.
I have a weightlifting belt.
That's pretty crucial. Yeah.
And then I would usually bring like a bag or something to put all the stuff in.
Yeah.
So I don't have to carry it everywhere I go.
What about you, Ab? What's in your bag? What do you got? What do you take to the gym?
I will not go to the gym. I will have to find them. If I don't find them, I'm not going. My headphones and my phone.
Gotta have some music.
I have to have my music going. I can't work without it.
Pretty rough.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, I can't.
Respect, dog.
No running shoes. It's so hard to work out in those.
Oh, good call.
If you are getting into the gym, do not wear running shoes.
What do you wear?
I wear my Converse because they're flat-footed. If you don't have flat-footed shoes, just wear your socks.
That's great advice on the squat rack, especially.
On like the squat rack, there's some people who don't wear shoes because it will be off balance.
That's right.
And you can injure yourself by getting off balance. So don't wear running shoes.
You mean if you got like really squishy, padded shoes, they can kind of throw your balance off when you got a lot of weight on it?
Padded shoes, like
dig it.
Nikes.
Yep.
Nike, just regular shoes.
Just some flat-footed.
Those are really good. Normally I would say my gym gloves.
Well,
but I don't really have those.
Kind of lost them, and my straps.
My water bottle. And then I would wear something that you're actually comfortable in. Like, you don't need to worry about, like, what other people think. If you want to just wear what you're comfortable in, and when you're starting off, find a rhythm. Like, one day you do this day, and get a rhythm in for going to the gym. Like twice a week. Like, my dad and I are going Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's what we're shooting for. Because once you get in there, it's so much more easier to get into the gym.
Once you just kind of have a routine, a rhythm.
Like the first couple weeks are going to be rough. Just keep pushing through and it will pay off.
Another thing that we always have at the gym is gum.
Oh yes, gum.
It's hard to, so, like, especially with, these are just great advice.
You don't
great tips.
grate your teeth.
Yeah, because we'd be doing
gum.
That. Probably ought to invest in. Probably ought to do something on a mouth guard. Actually, probably ought to look into some mouth guard.
And it kind of keeps you distracted because sometimes if when I don't have gum and I'm doing like heavy weight lifts, I really focus on that pain. But if I have gum in my mouth, it kind of distracts me from the pain.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great advice. Now, as you people have seen, as we've been doing this, I've been putting some of the different products up there that we use that Zeva has, like the pictures to her belt and her gloves and stuff like that. All of those product links are down in the description below. They're Amazon affiliate links, and you just go and you pay the normal price, and basically just gives us a little slice off your purchase. It doesn't cost you guys anything, and so just look down in the description. You see what we're talking about, the weight gloves or the belt or whatever. There'll be the little Amazon affiliate link right next to it down in the description below on YouTube.
And don't let your kid tell you that they watch this podcast and now they have to have these things, because these girls, neither one of these girls started off in the gym with these things. They start off barehanded. Just walking through the door is the most important thing. In fact, finding a gym that you can actually take your 11-year-old daughter to.
Because most gyms, they don't allow it.
Shout out to Balance Fitness. Thank you. Shout out to Balance Fitness.
Yeah, I'd really like to actually get those guys, one of the two, if not both of them, on the podcast, because they not only allow.
We're gonna have to get a wide screen, bro. Mike's put on some weight.
Mike's getting pretty jacked.
Yes.
You guys have seen like gymnasts that do the rings. Add like another 50% mass to that, and that's Mike. He does, looks great. But they have Balance Fitness. I don't know if they have more than one location, but they have one location down in downtown Hillsboro, and actually Chad is the one that got me involved. And by the way, if you guys decide to go there, let them know that Chad and Rob from the Bucket Dads sent you. It will definitely help us out a little bit.
It does.
A little discount.
If you hang out and you actually show face for 3 months, we get a month membership.
Yeah,
and it's happened to me probably 4 times. I've probably gotten at least 4 or 5 months. I swear to you, because you guys, my friend Jordan, I think I got one for each of you guys. You know what I mean? So they
literally pretty much they don't have everything there, but they have like 95% of what you need there. Like we're talking like they have different weights of jump ropes. They have every kind of like constant little adjustment. They have classrooms.
Bands.
I mean, and it's kind of smart. It's kind of smart too. They got like a master a touchscreen system with music and stuff. They got tons of treadmill. Like if you think of it, they got a little
snack box there, a little snack thing.
Yeah, they have
sauna. They got a sauna. They got massage chairs. They got a nice locker room. Yeah, place is super clean. Yeah. It's a really nice gym.
Yeah. So find yourself a gym. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Find yourself a gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be great to get those guys on there. I know that they have. I know that they've sponsored like Oregon Rain teams and probably some other softball teams. Sure. So it'd be great to have them on here, and maybe one of these days we can get them to sponsor the podcast. That'd be awesome.
If you can't get a gym, and you can't find a spot where you have a good spot where you have a squat rack and some free weights, you know what I mean? Don't let that be an excuse, man. You find a way to get out there and you train with your kids. Everybody's doing it. You can get bands. Honestly, you can get a set of bands on Amazon for super cheap, and you can pretty much get a good workout. Now, granted, we don't really want to do those too much. We like to this episode. Tonight's episode is about weights. And
but resistance bands. If you don't have weights, that's the next best thing.
They really are.
And like as you can see right here, here's one that we use at home. It's basically like a wall strap that goes around your door that has multiple different loops with different types of pulley systems and stuff like that. Yeah. It's great. It's great. And you incorporate that with all this jump box right here. Ooh, then you have then you have basically a place to sit down while you're pulling on the bands. And actually, Zeva, you use those bands a lot, don't you? Like before pitching and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of exercises do you do with those, and like what's the reason for doing it?
I do this drill called bow flex bow with the resistance bands for pitching. So I would put the band around I'll put it in front of me like that, kind of like if you were Superman standing up, and then you would like come back.
Gotcha.
And then because that would be bow. Flex, bow, and then it comes back together.
Did Coach Scott teach you that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott Van Hype, shout out to you, buddy. Yeah. So yeah, if you don't have a whole lot of room, you don't have a whole lot of money, and
we have a similar set too. I think it might be like yours. It catches in a door jam, so we put it like in the door jam. Obviously, I learned this the hard way. Believe it or not, put it in the door jam, the opposite direction of the door opening. Right, so you don't want to put it where you're pulling the door could open and that thing fly off and smack you in your noggin. But anyways, long story short, put it in the door jam. All kinds of things. Flies. You can do curls. You can lay on your back and put the things to your ankles and pull towards your chest.
Just make sure that if you do that, you make sure nobody comes and opens the door.
Yeah.
Because if that happens, the band will come straight at you.
And if you stretch it across your hall, your kids can use it as a slingshot and have a war in your house.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Surgical tube basically is what the stuff is, guys. You can find them on Amazon. Pretty cheap. And you can find them right here.
Yeah. And if you just want to just go with the old school bands, you can always try this right here, which is awesome. It's a big fat roll of super like strong
rubber bandy material,
like high density like stretch band. Yeah. And so what I did was I bought this roll and I basically chopped it into like 13 or 14 different pieces, and I tied knots on them, and then I put carabiners on them, and so that we can attach them to the fence. So all the girls can attach to the fence and practice doing leaning run sprints and stuff like that as resistance as they're getting pulled against the chain link fence.
You know, when Abby was going to remember when she was doing physical therapy right here at the Esplanade, that was a common exercise. They had all those different colored bands.
Yeah, they had a bunch of those. They just had like rolls.
Yeah, that was a big one. So that's a pretty common thing. That's a good. That's a good one.
Yeah, those things,
I like that,
dude. And that's the thing, man. It's like, you know, you try to buy those individual bands by themselves. They're not cheap when you look at how much a roll is and how many feet you get out of a roll. No. I'm not even going to guess how many feet it is, but I want to say it's like somewhere in like the 40 to 50 foot range, maybe even longer than that, maybe 80 foot. Yeah. So what would you give them as far as advice on what not to do when you're first starting out?
Don't compare yourself to other people.
What was that, Zeva? I just messing
don't compare yourself.
Right.
That's the last thing you want to do. Yeah. They are different bodies. They may grow faster. Don't compare yourselves.
Okay.
Just
That's
don't.
Positive body. What do you call that? Affirmation.
I think is the word. What do you think, Ziva? What do you think is something you definitely don't want to do?
Like if you're just playing new to softball, if you're running around the bases and once you land on home, don't keep running around. I screwed up on that in rec when I first started playing softball.
Just went back to first. Just kept going.
Freaking funny, man.
She was going for a twofer.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking about what kind of advice could you give girls not to do when they first start working out in the gym, but that's still great advice. Story. Don't run past home back to first.
I've got some great advice. Yeah. I've got some great advice when you're first getting started.
What?
Don't eat chili when you're going to go squat.
Oh.
Don't eat chili before you go squat.
Yeah. Oh, another thing is don't go too hard. Your body's not used to that heavy weightlifting. Don't go too far. The first time I went to the gym, I probably went
hard, you mean?
Yeah, I
remember that.
Too hard. The next day, I could not walk.
She was crying.
Like, I couldn't walk. Don't go too hard. And don't go too heavy. Just take it kind of easy.
You know, here's the truth is they're growing anyways. So like they're going to grow. A little weight, you don't have to go too hard, but as they progress, 100%, so should their progression. Or so should the weight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, I forgot his name. Was it Metzger? Was the guy's name?
Mike Metzer?
Yeah, Mike Metzer. I was just watching a video on him, and he was basically talking about how you don't have to do 4 or 5 sets. You literally can do 1 or 2 sets as long as you push to failure.
Yeah. And you got to give his whole routine is like that. You don't, you know, his whole routine is in and out of the gym twice a week at most, squatting once every month.
Yeah.
And the idea is you go 180%.
Yeah. You go to failure.
Yeah.
More than failure.
If you don't
assisted failure.
Yeah. Assisted failure.
Assisted failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to really shock is what his theory. Now, then I'm sure it works. There's plenty of ways that guys are getting jacked.
Yeah. Hey, but hey, guys, do not sacrifice form for weight.
Yeah.
Like,
don't.
Do whatever you can do, but do not break the form, because when you break the form, that's when you get injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I look for when I put them on the squat rack, right? When I put Abby, so I'm going to run through some of mine real quick, right? Number one, obviously, I think that you pretty much fair game with their legs, with their lower half at a young age. You know, it's kind of like, they're on their legs all the time. I'm more pushy to do squats than I am to say doing presses, upper bench pressing or something like that.
Maybe careful with those shoulders.
100%, dude. You really do, especially pitchers, and especially with their, we're still trying to develop, and you have to remember that the connective tissue doesn't grow as fast as the muscle does at this age. Like, they're still developing. So you kind of got to be careful with that shit. Yeah. So going back to one of those myths that has a little bit that I do believe is, like, you don't have to, should they max out? I don't really think you got to do a 1 max rep to see what it is. There's the calculators, and you would get way more benefit and way less likely to injure yourself. And it's a psychedelic. It's a psychedelic thing to max out. It's a.
I'm seeing fractals
everywhere. It's a mind thing. It is a mind thing, and so you don't want to be scared, right? There's no, in my opinion. So I believe that. I believe that too. But I do think that it's good to get pretty close. 3.
Yeah,
within 3.
Yeah.
I think that you could tell.
You can power lift a little bit, but don't try to freaking max out.
And another one, and that I believe to be true is the deadlift is very, 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 very easy to injure yourself because it's very easy to overlift. You're lifting, it's easy to pull a muscle deadlifting. Really, it's all about that form you're talking about. So
and back to what you're talking about as far as injury goes. I honestly, I didn't really know this until I met Chad, and then I started doing my research on I guess at the time it was ChatGPT or maybe something like that. But lifting heavy does not hurt your growth plates. Getting injured while lifting heavy is what hurts your growth plates.
Sure.
If you get a break or something like that at the growth plate, that's how you get screwed. All right. But the actual pressure itself, that doesn't affect your growth plates. You guys can look this up on your own. This has been debunked for a long time.
Yeah. So anyways, back to my go-tos at the gym. This is what ours looks like when we go to the gym. And by the way, I think it's cool too, because now that we've been going to the gym for about a year, I'm finally at that stage where I can actually get back into my own routine now, where we go to the gym. She pretty much has an idea what she's going to do. I don't have to assist her on everything. She can, you know what I mean? She can kind of work her way through her own workouts. And of course, I'm there taking pictures, standing behind her, motivating her, doing her own thing. But I'm also able to do my own leg workout. I'm also able to hit my legs while she's hitting back. She'll do some lat pull downs. She's doing rows, and I can hit some squats. And, and I can do the Romanian deadlifts and all that stuff. And she gets down on those too. So, typically we go into the classroom. We'd like to do a little stretching.
Ooh, the speed bag.
Lately, she's been showing lots of interest in that speed bag, and I told you about the gloves and the mitts, but we haven't really got too much into that. But it's always we do some push-ups. Abby likes to do the roller thing on her hips. She kind of gets loosened up. I do a bunch of push-ups, kind of like to get a little pump, get a little swell before I take my hoodie off. I don't want to look like this. I got to have a little swell, a little pump, right? Kettlebells. We found kettlebells recently.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been...
Had Ziva start doing a little bit of those swinging.
Swinging those things. One time I did
She went hard. I'll show you.
I did 50.
I'll show you the video. She just wouldn't stop. I was like, holy shit, dude, knock it off.
I could have gone
more. It was
more.
like that time she locked eyes with you. She wouldn't stop. You're like, stop, knock it off. We'll get into that here in a bit too. This has been a good one. Standing calf raises on the Smith machine.
Oh, we just started doing that too.
With a plate under their toes.
That's exactly what we just did. Awesome. A step up, a stepper.
Up. Yeah. Or over at the gym we have the wedges too.
Oh yeah.
But put a plate or something underneath it. But on the Smith machine, because it's a little bit less dangerous than doing it on the 100%. With the bar, right?
Yep.
The Smith machine is awesome, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Love that. And that Smith machine.
You like that, right, Ziva? You didn't like doing the freaking calf raises?
Whatever you do with the Smith machine, it goes a certain way. It goes like this. It has an angle.
Yeah.
Don't go like that. One time, my dad had me do it like that. I don't know. why. And I got stuck at the bottom. Like, I couldn't stand up.
She went to squat on it, which you could totally do that. It just felt awkward.
Squats. Okay.
And
I got stuck, and I couldn't get back up.
Like folded her like a little taco. It was funny because there was only like 12 pounds on it. It was hilarious because it just felt awkward to her. But anyways,
so when you guys do squats on the Smith machine, you're facing out.
On
there's
this one,
a mirror.
Well, there's a mirror on both sides.
It kind of goes like that.
It slants towards the wall. The one at Balance Fitness. It goes from the top, slants towards the wall. So are you guys facing out away from the wall when you guys do squats?
You know, like the mirror?
No, she's facing towards the wall.
Okay, so that's what she does on calf raises too.
Yeah.
So when you first tried
calf raises too, towards the wall, the short distance.
Right.
Everything like towards the wall.
So the first time you were facing away from the wall, and you got stuck?
Yeah.
I was doing it the right way, and my dad's like, why don't you try the other way?
It's like all heel. You're trying to get up, and it's like all heel, and you can't get any leverage with your toes.
You can't get up. It's like you
definitely because you're going backwards. All right. So it's kind of awkward, but anyways, whatever.
Oh, the machine that's over by the squat rack.
Yeah. It's like a squat that. Remember the one that you have to turn it and has hooks on it with your hand?
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about the sit down
machine.
like.
Oh, the little arm. That's the arm.
No, I'm talking
curl.
I'm talking about the standing calf raises. You like that, right? With the machine with like I think it's badass, right?
That's what.
Absolutely.
That's my first favorite.
I like that, and like I just said, dude, I'm all about hitting them on their legs. Pretty much, you got free range. So another one, the hip abductor. Is that what it's called?
I call them flexors, but I think those are abductors, the ones that go out.
But the way we just call them. I'll tell you later off the camera. But anyways, I like those because it's good exercise on the hips, and then the classic old leg extensions. That's pretty much it. Oh, we do some lunges, some walking lunges, but pretty much Abby hates those. And then overhead presses, a lot of compound movements. Man. What's that?
I said pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, I don't pretty much. Don't hate those. I just hate those.
Yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much a routine. We'll do it. And of course, I like to throw in some push pull type stuff. So like if we're doing a little bit of push, I like to do a little pull. So for instance, if we're doing a little pressing this way, I like to throw in a little rear delt pull just to kind of keep it all kind of balanced like that.
Yeah, one exercise that I just had them do with resistance bands, which we're going to start doing on pulling machines, is hip flex. They're basically called reverse squats.
Reverse squats. Yep.
Okay. And I'll put a little thing up. Reverse squats. So you basically get a bench and you can lay down flat on it. And either you can use a resistance band and put it against the anchor and then loop it around your legs, or you can use a whatchamacallit, like ankle wraps, and you can basically attach it to a pulley system and pull the pulley system.
Yep.
And honestly, I think the pulley system is probably the best way to go because then you can increase the weight over time and versus resistance bands where you have to change that resistance band. It's just I like using weights when I can.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Yeah,
right?
free weights for sure.
But yeah.
And the girls also, I noticed both of them like doing the tricep push downs, and we've been trying to do those a couple different ways. We've been trying to do them standing up like this, and we've been trying to do them standing upright and leaning forward, pulling the cable over your head.
Let's just transition. So as these girls that are getting all big and jacked and sweaty in the gym, then they get kind of dolled up. And we were lucky enough to just go to a daddy-daughter dance with these young ladies, and it was my first. And I don't know how many of you got any, but a few. But we had a great time, didn't we?
We did have a great time. We had we had a blast, man, out there in Carlton.
Yeah.
At this
like
Ken
one spot.
Wright Cellars.
Yeah.
Beautiful setting.
Yeah. Did you like that, Zeva? That was your first daddy-daughter dance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you wanting to go to the next one?
Absolutely, and include all the other girls on the team.
Yeah, that would
be their dads. That would be wild. That would be great. And catch the horse ride, the carriage ride.
Oh yeah, definitely get maybe earlier tickets so the horse isn't wear down.
Yeah. What was your favorite part about the dance, and what was your least favorite part about the dance, Zeva?
Like the slow dances and like all the other songs that were playing.
That's what I was hoping she'd say.
And, and then my least favorite part was when Abby was dragging me across the floor.
You wouldn't get on the dance floor. You're sitting there behind these big barrels of like wine, and you're just like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Being a wallflower.
She wouldn't get on the dance floor. She wouldn't do it.
She did it.
What was your favorite part, Chad?
Oh man, I'm a sentimental sap, dude. This was my third. This was our third daddy-daughter dance to that spot.
Second one of the year.
Second one of the year. Like we're all about the daddy-daughter dances.
Yeah, we go every year to for my school.
I think honestly, my honest favorite part was just the fact that, and this is gonna sound savvy, but you know, I love being there with the Abs always. Was you guys having your first daddy-daughter dance? Zeva having her first daddy-daughter dance, and we all got to share that experience. The girls looked absolutely beautiful.
Yep, absolutely.
And let me tell you something about that slow dancing, Zeva and Rob. I'm going to tell you right now, every time you slow dance with your daughter, it's like the first time you slow dance with your daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It means all that.
I can imagine. That was the first time I ever slow danced with her, but I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
And like, it just is like one of those things where it's just like the song isn't long enough, you know?
Yeah.
And, I don't know. My least favorite part was the size of the ice cream that they gave out.
Yes, that was my.
Oh yeah.
It was like a tablespoon. I'm like,
come on, guys, let's break out the ice cream. Come on.
Yeah, I'm with you. My favorite part was the slow dancing, but mostly it was actually slow dancing with both of us at the same time. Which if I haven't shown, it's right here. Like we got out there, and the co-favorite part is that we were the ones that pulled everybody out on the dance floor. We were like some of the first people out there.
We were.
Everybody else was standing around. Just like, I don't know about this dancing bullshit.
Except for that one guy.
I got that on video too.
The dad and his daughter
looked like this guy looked like he was rolling on some designer drugs, bro.
He was having a great time,
dude.
Dude, there's this dad. He was like dancing to every song.
Oh my gosh,
and his daughter was like so embarrassed.
Oh man.
At first she was embarrassed, but then she just got into it. She loosened up, and she must at this point. She looked at she was probably 13 years old. Yeah. She must know that like that's just my dad's goof.
That guy's cool as hell. I hope I see him again. If I see him again, I introduce myself, try to become friends with him. Obviously, he wasn't on a drug. He was just freaking like getting down, but he was getting down in a way where he just did not give two shits.
He was getting down like it was like a 1980s party.
Yeah.
And we had the dad in the kilt. We had the Scottish or Irish dad in the kilt.
Yep.
And a bunch of cowboy dads. We had a few cowboy dads. We had a few business selects, if you will.
Yep. My least favorite part about the whole thing, besides not being able to get on the horse ride, was that it was obviously a girl, because there's no way a freaking father is going to freaking recommend this song. Some girl recommended a Billie Eilish song. I think it's called like Lunch. Dude, what are you doing? Yeah. Don't be playing that song. DJ, what are you doing playing that song?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So when I heard that, it was just like get the hell off this dance floor. I don't even want to be listening to this crap.
Right. Well, somebody requested it.
Somebody did. But anyways, I was just like,
maybe they tipped him.
Yeah.
Maybe
probably. Here's $100 play this song. Yeah. Ooh, $100. Yeah. But anyways, we had a great time.
It was a good time, man.
And totally looking forward to the next time. And honestly, it was a really good showing too. There's a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
And a great setting. I mean,
I think there was two, right? There was two. There was a early event and then a later one, like the time slots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, honestly, let's talk about it, man. You show up. They treated you like, once you got into this, they take your coat. They're very respectful to the ladies, the girls. You look so beautiful. Blah 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 blah. They had little spots where they could do makeovers, tattoos, photo booths.
Yeah, they actually had multiple tables for makeovers.
Sausage.
Oh, I was a miss that, dude. I don't know if that was Hickory Farms or what they're using, man, but that summer sausage
Hickory or Hillshire.
Bomb diggity.
It was good.
Bomb diggity.
Some crackers. They had these nice little like cracker cheese kind of spread going on there and some like punch type of typical. But the dance floor was nice.
Yes, the girls absolutely loved it. The girls both wear their Converse cons. You know, sorry,
I can't
Converse.
Go wrong with my Converse. I mean, it was either that or my heels. I'm like, I'm not wearing heels for 2 hours.
I think in the picture, Zeva, were you wearing heels when we were taking pictures up front?
Yeah, I was wearing heels, but
she's almost as tall as you,
I
Rob.
switched over my gold Converses.
Yeah. Start cutting around.
Like,
it was a little chilly. We had to wait a little bit to get inside the door.
Yeah.
But once we got in, it was cool. And we're gonna try to go again next year.
Can I tell you my favorite part?
Oh heck yeah! I didn't.
I thought you already. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. My favorite part, we're singing every word for every song.
Oh my God.
And staring deep into my eyes, making me feel very uncomfortable. Awkward. I'm like, dude, stare everywhere other than here.
didn't mean to.
She was like, I just want you to know that I know every word to the song. I was like, I got it.
She was just vibing, bro. She was just vibing.
Yeah.
She was just vibing.
Yeah.
That was
oh,
No,
man,
one
it
of
was
my
cool.
other
You
favorite parts-
definitely know songs very well. You know all the words. She listens to a lot of music.
She is a
obviously.
song buff, dude.
Yeah.
Probably
yeah.
more than any other girl I know. What
Yeah.
up, Ziva?
One of my other favorite parts,
Yeah.
while you were waiting,
Yeah.
there was these, I think, brothers that were in front of us with their daughters, and one of the daughters was younger and the other girl was older. The girls were chasing each other, running through
Oh my
the dad's
gosh.
legs, and one of them tripped, fell on her knees, and then face planted right into the ground.
Oh my
And
God.
I really wanted to just start screaming and laughing because it was so funny, because she barely hit the ground and it was so funny. I was like, I knew it was gonna happen at some point.
That's
And I
hilarious.
whispered that into
Chasing each
Abby.
other. It was like a wrestling match.
Jeez.
It was hilarious. And I
Well, there was
whispered over
definitely a
Abby,
lot of girls from different
it's
ages.
gonna happen at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely had some kids, and you definitely had some dads who were probably going to be their last daddy-daughter dancing. You know, what's his name, the guy that put it on? He was talking about his daughter was 16, freshman or junior in high school or something like that. Probably be her last, one more year.
Yeah.
So next year.
But hey, if you guys can go, man, definitely go. The tickets are free. You just got to jump on it and get them before they sold out, because they are limited capacity. They just don't have unlimited capacity. So definitely check that out. But before we get going, we got a few different products that we're going to showcase, since we're talking about working out in the gym and stuff like that. We got this badass forearm roller. Now, for those of you that are new to softball, one of the biggest freaking muscles for helping you be a badass hitter and a badass thrower are forearms. So, Abby, why don't you show them how this thing works?
Why don't you stand up and demonstrate that, Abs? Just kind of look at your camera there. And I don't know if you want to turn the iPad on and make sure you're getting the whole thing or not, but whatever.
I think it probably has her. As long as she stands up right there. She can. I can
You
hear
don't even need to talk, bud. Just do the exercise.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's
Here, I'll
fine.
help you.
Just roll it down. Yeah, control it all the way down.
Control it all the way up.
I feel like it's gonna fall.
Well,
Yep.
so what you do is you put something very valuable underneath that, and you make sure that she doesn't drop it.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
so-
Go down, do a couple more.
Most of the time you would
Let's look
use
at the
a
pump.
weight.
Look at her red face. I'll get red. No, don't let it go down naturally on its own. You wheel it down. Yeah, I see you cheating. That's what I wanted to see.
Man, can you imagine if you put a 10-pound weight on there?
No, dude, there's no way. That
no.
Oh, yes. I've been good strong
All
now.
right. Now, listen, guys, when you guys are doing this, if the girls get tired because their arms are getting tired, their pecs are getting tired, you can always have them hang off the edge of like a couch or something like that. All right.
Yes.
But we have a link to that forearm roller down below in the description for YouTube.
Description.
And next we have this badass forearm exerciser. Now, listen, I used to use this when I was recovering from my surgery to help work with my forearm strength for my left hand. It's a gyro ball. And do you know how to get that thing to work? All right. Yeah, so you just wind this thing. Now, listen, when you get this, you're going to think that it's broken because you can't get it to work, just like I did. It's not because it's broken. It's just because you don't get it yet. All right. It takes a little while. All right.
It's hard to get going. You got to get it going.
I'm going to let her get it going, and then I'm going to give you guys an instruction on exactly how to get it going. Like, she'll probably explain it pretty well, but I'm pretty good at this thing.
Well, once it gets turning, what's going on? There's a little gyro in there, and it's just like a counter weight.
Yeah.
And it kind of spins around.
I
You
wish
kinda
I
get it
was there
going.
so I could show.
I know. Well, don't be sick.
Don't be sick. Drink water. Drink water so that you are feeling better. Thank you. That bottle is
water.
full. It's full.
I was drinking it earlier. Plus,
Well,
it's
you didn't drink
frozen.
much of it, hon. You got to be drinking the water, Ziva.
All right, let's try it. Okay. So, anyways, I'm going to show you guys. how to do this.
Nice attempt.
Let's
there,
try
Abs.
it. Let's try
Nice
it.
job.
All right. So on the bottom side are these little arrows, and like the wheel itself doesn't spin both ways without resistance. It only spins one way with resistance. So once you find the resistance, you take your thumb and let's see here. I'll show you on the wide camera.
It has
You
arrows
take your
on
thumb
the
and
thing.
you wind it back. And then once you wind it back and you get it to the point where it's wound all the way, you take your hand and you grip it so that the line is going from your thumb knuckle to your index finger. And then once it goes, what you try to do is you basically go like this, and then you want to twist against the resistance. So you want it, when you twist, you want it to be hard, not easy. So watch. And then it will start to light up as you go faster.
Now it's putting some resistance against his motion, if you will.
And then when you want to slow it down, put it on some clothes. Do not touch your skin with it. It'll burn the crap out of you. But anyways, you can do it both ways. You can kind of go clockwise or counterclockwise, both hands.
Absolutely.
And kids love it because there's just fun. So if you guys are going on trips and you got some kids in the car, get some of these. Have them try to basically see who can last the longest. I'm telling you, dude, you do that. These things are not that expensive. So just look down the comments below for a gyro ball, and you'll see the affiliate marketing link for Amazon. Just click on that, and I think they're I don't know, something like $15 or $20.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more, but they're great.
Get your kids in the gym, you guys. Dads, listen, if you're having a hard time, you got that dad bod you're trying to shake, and you got the excuse that says, hey, I don't have time to go to the gym. BS. Your kid wants to go to the gym with you. I don't care what they like to do. They want to spend time with you. And you'll end up having a great relationship. You'll develop great habits. You'll get them into healthy body imaging, you know what I mean? Healthy self-image. Take your kids to the gym,
and
man.
If they do sports, by the time you're in high school, you're going to be ahead of everyone else.
These girls, by the time they're 20 years old, they can both literally say they've been going to the gym for 10 years. They'll have freaking so much more on everybody else just by
versus everybody starts going around 16.
And you don't got to be a gym buff. You don't got to go be on stage. We're not trying to get you out there looking like Jay Cutler.
Not the quarterback, people, the bodybuilder. But hey, another thing though, if you're gonna go to the gym, make sure you drink your water and make sure you eat protein
and carbohydrates
and carbs.
Eat healthy.
Carbs are important,
just
especially
eat
before.
Food in general.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is, but I think it's there's a 10-minute rule or something like that. Where it's if you can drink a protein shake within the first 10 minutes after a workout.
I like that one. Rate. I should have looked that one up when we were looking at myths because I like that one too. I think there is a little bit. There's a name for that. It's your body is blah blah blah. I can't think of the name, but anyways, there's a certain little time period where you want to try to, where you can capitalize on that protein synthesis going on. If you
now you can eat protein before you go to the gym. It's not as advised. Protein afterwards is what you want. Yeah. But listen, if you decide for some reason that you want to go to the gym and drink protein shakes while you're at the gym and you're there for longer than a few hours, for those of you that don't know, the worst farts in the world are protein shake farts. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to be that girl or that guy at the gym busting off some protein farts.
That's right.
Horrible.
And on that note,
yep. Well, best of luck to you. Don't be that stinky guy.
Don't be that stinky guy. But hey, whatever gets you to the gym, get to the gym, guys.
Sweet, man. What else? Is there anything else?
I think we nailed it.
I don't think so.
I think we nailed it. Thank you, girls. Yeah. Thank you, Zeva.
Yeah.
Love you, honey. Hope you're feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
Abby, like always, bud. Appreciate you, honey.
Yeah.
Yep. Good one. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace out.
See ya.
Bye.